What is happening, y'all? Thank y'all for joining the channel again. Again, if you're new, please consider subscribing if you like what you hear and see today. But anyway, 6th gen 6th gen 4Runner pricing is out today, and we're going to talk about that in this video. I'm going to let you know whether or not I think there's value in there, and we're going to go over each trim level and price increase. Spoiler alert, there's price increases, but let's get into it. All right, so the new I keep messing this up. The new 6th gen 4Runner starts at just $65 more than the old one, but there's a catch. And yes, guys, there is absolutely a catch here. But we're going to talk about pricing first, then we'll talk about the catch. So the base 4Runner SR5 two-wheel drive is going to start at $42,220, including a nice $1,450 freight charge. And what it says is it steps an entire decade into the present from a turbocharged 2.4 liter cylinder engine, 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque, to an 8-speed automatic transmission, to Toyota's latest generation of infotainment, and of course the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. If you want to add four-wheel drive to your 4Runner SR5, you're looking at a price now of $44,220, which is $190 more than the equivalent outgoing model. So that's a little bit more than $65, considering where general inflation is. That is not bad, is what this article is saying. When we're looking at the, comparing apples to apples, SR5 5th gen versus the new 6th gen. Now, the problem is, and where I just don't see value in what Toyota is trying to get across to you, which is that, hey, it's a sweet bargain. The prices didn't go up on the SR5s. Is that if you get into an SR5, a 5th gen specifically, you're going to feel the quality permeate throughout that vehicle. You're going to have that tried and true powertrain. It's an awesome vehicle that undoubtedly has a lot of quality and value to it. Obviously, I haven't driven a 6th gen 4Runner because they are not out yet, right? What I can deduce from is the fact that I've been inside the new Tacoma multiple times. I've been in every trim with the exception of the TRD Pro and the Trailhunter, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that vehicle is inferior in quality to my 4Runner, my 5th gen 4Runner. It's not even close. The headliner material, the plastics used in the interior, the metals used on the door, on the hood, the feeling of just the seats and being inside of that vehicle. The cloth seats on an SR5, on the base SR5, are fantastic, and nothing to do with the new Tacoma. New Tacoma, it feels cheap, it feels flimsy, it does not feel like a robust truck, and that's just my opinion. And so if we are to surmise that the new 4Runner is following in its footsteps, because we can, because of how it's designed and the parts that they're sharing, I can say that you're not getting as much for your money, or you won't be getting as much for your money for a 6th gen. So really, where is the value when you're comparing how much you're paying? Again, I just don't see that value. I could be proven wrong when they come out. They could very much, the new 4Runners, even at the base SR5 level, be comparable in quality, let's say, to the new Land Cruiser, which again, at the 1958, yes, it's ensconced in plastic and it has cloth seats, but the cloth seats and the plastics feel pretty solid. So, we'll just have to wait and see. But again, this is not where I would look at value. This is not, again, I think that you, in yesteryear, in the years leading to COVID and before COVID, you definitely got more value out of buying a vehicle, specifically a Toyota. There was just more value there. With the new platform, new generation, with cost cutting, you just don't get that. Your money just doesn't travel as far. And that's just across all industries, not just the auto industry, right? But let's keep diving into this article because it gets worse. So they have a nice look at the interior. So again, this is carbon copy Tacoma. This looks like it's a limited. So nicely appointed with the leather, blah, blah, blah. If you guys have been in the new Tacoma, all those plastics feel much cheaper than the 5th gens. That screen there is just completely, out of place. It's just comically too large for the space. You know, it's not a huge cabin. It's very distracting. And then the digital cluster is whatever. I'm not in love with this interior. And again, it's a carbon copy of the Tacoma. But let's go into the pricing because that's what this video is about. So now if you step up in the trim range, this article states that things start to get more expensive. So now the two-wheel drive TRD Sport trim, which by the way, guys, the TRD Sport trim to me is the most useless trim of the lineup and historically has been. I do not know why they introduced it other than a money grab. It's merely for appearance. I don't know why you would get the Sport trim, but they're going to offer it again. It's going to cost you $48,700 for a two-wheel drive, cloth seats, and that's going to cost you $3,155. Now, when you do step up into the Sport, it is going to add the automatic climate control, digital gauge cluster, heated front seats, but you don't get soft text. Now, if you add four-wheel drive to this Sport, it's going to cost you $2,000, and it's going to bump you up to $50,700. And then if you get the TRD Sport Premium, that one adds the ventilated front seats with soft text, hands-free power liftgate, 360-degree camera, TRD shift knob, and heated steering wheel. It's gonna jump the price up to $54,000 with the two-wheel drive and $56,000 with four-wheel drive. So if you get a four-wheel drive Sport, it's going to cost you $56,000. That is around the price of what a TRD Pro 5th Gen 4Runner cost, $56,000, $58,000, 6 months ago. So that is crazy to me. Let's keep going because it just keeps continuing trending in this direction. So let's look at the TRD off-road, and as this article aptly points out, and I'm in complete agreement with, that is the trim that historically has held its most value, but also it's the trim that most shoppers are going to be looking at because of historically what you get for that money. Now the TRD off-road is going to start at $50,640, which is $4,640 more than last year's model. And the same thing with the TRD Off-Road Premium model, which now starts at $7,840, which is, it starts at $56,420. I wish it started at $7,000. It starts at $56,420, which is $7,840 more than last year's TRD Off-Road Premium. Again, a starting price of $56,420 for a TRD Off-Road Premium. That's before options, guys. That is a lot of money. You get that composite front skid plate, Toyota's multi-terrain select system, and crawl control locking diff, which again, those are options that you get on the 5th Gen TRD Off-Road Premium as I have in my truck. The only value I see in that price hike is the refinement of the off-road goodies. So the multi-terrain select, the crawl control, it is smoother on these new generation Toyotas. Having owned the Tundra, the 3rd Gen Tundra, and taken that off-road and used the off-road systems, they are smoother, they are quieter, they are more pleasant to engage than the outgoing generation. So I guess that is a plus. However, I don't see that being a $7,840 plus. To me, there's no value here. Where are they getting this price increase from? Again, we are talking about a platform that, and I've covered this in other videos, but that reliability, or let's put it this way, the Toyota QDR, the historic quality, durability, reliability that they've touted and ridden the coattails of for many years is no longer there, with the Tundra and the Tacoma being prime examples of that. I just don't see where they're coming up with this price increase. Yes, inflation does play a big part in it. All industries have been hit by inflation. Post-COVID world is just, it's bizarro world out there. But again, we know that Toyota's cutting costs. They are using flimsier materials. They are doing whatever they can to increase their margins. I just don't see why anyone would pay $56,000 for a TRD off-road premium. But it keeps getting worse, guys. So Back to the article. Now, the Limited's going to sticker for $56,850, which apparently they're going to offer in a 2-wheel drive trim, and then they're going to offer a 4-wheel drive trim, which is $58,850. That's what that's going to cost you. That's an increase of $5,460 and $5,425. That one's a weird one because it's my understanding that the 5th gen Limiteds were all-time 4-wheel drive. You didn't have an option of 2-wheel drive. I could be wrong. If you guys know for certain, correct me in the comments section, but that just seems wild that they would offer 2-wheel drive in the Limited. And then they're going to offer a hybrid, so the same hybrid 4-banger that is in the Land Cruiser and is in the Tacomas, specifically the TRD, the Trail Hunter, and now you can get it in other trims. It's going to cost you $2,800 more, so another add-on. And then the Platinum's gonna be a hybrid. That one's gonna be $64,310. The Trail Hunter and TRD Pro trims, respectively, will be $68,350. That's insane. 6 months ago, you could have gotten a TRD Pro 5th Gen 4Runner for $56,000, $58,000, around there. In my area, there was no markups for that. And so that was a good deal because you got a lot. It's a lot of bang for your buck. Even for my TRD Off-Road Premium, which I'm not going to divulge how much I paid because I don't like talking about money when it comes to my own money. But it was certainly well below MSRP. I was in the invoice. So you guys do the math. That is insane that they are wanting $56,000 plus for a TRD Off-Road Premium with an unproven powertrain, with materials that are of less quality. And then if you add the hybrid to that, you're looking at over, you're close to $60,000 before options, taxes, and fees. So $60,000, let's say, for a TRD Off-Road Premium with the hybrid, 58, close to 60 without the hybrid. There's not a lot of value there, guys. The value proposition for this vehicles is non-existent. I think, and this is my humble opinion, and my recommendation is if you're a current 5th Gen 4Runner owner, stick with it. Ride it out. Drive the wheels off of it, do your maintenance, it's gonna last you. As long as you take care of it, it's gonna last you. There's no need to rush out and get the newest and greatest thing because guess what? They're not the greatest thing. These new vehicles, as I'm a prime example of what happens when you rush in to buy a new generation vehicle. I got burned by the Tundra. You're welcome, because you guys didn't have to take the hit, and my videos are proof in the pudding, right? I took a gamble on a new platform and I got burned, right? We can talk hours about it, but I'm not going to. What I will recommend, though, is that if you have a 5th Gen 4Runner, that you hold on to it, you take care of it, and it'll work out for you and your family. It'll keep you safe, it'll be reliable, and you don't have to take a gamble. If you're really liking the styling and just refinement of the new powertrain and you can't wait, that's up to you, but I would say just wait a couple of years to see how the reliability of this new platform and powertrain holds up, and in a couple of years make that decision. But honestly, guys, when you think about an off-road machine or a body on frame truck, which this is, body on frame SUV / truck, that's meant to be off-roaded, meant to tow with, meant to haul your family with, keep you safe, have a reliable platform. When you start pushing above $60,000, even in the mid 50s for a tool, which is a vehicle, is a tool. It's not a luxury, at least for most of us. There's just no value there. What value is Toyota presenting to us as the consumer in these vehicles? I think the value, if there's going to be any, or the value proposition, is going to be in that SR5 range, which I'm sure they're going to mark up, and I'm sure they're going to not make a whole lot of supply of, to keep that demand up. And again, compared to the outgoing generation, your money's just not going to travel as far. So again, guys, just hold on to your 5th Gen 4Runners or even 4th Gen, whatever you have. If it's paid off, it'll do you well. It's going to get you to A to B safely, reliably. You're going to have it for years to come. You can pass it down to your kids and grandkids. I would hold off on the 6th gen. But I'm going to try to get my hands on one. As soon as they start shipping out to dealers, I'll call my guy at my dealership and see if I can do a review. But until then, guys, y'all stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next one.